Afternoon, everybody. You are strapped in. It is another glorious Wednesday. We are getting you over the hump each and every Wednesday here on 105.5, the Money Channel. I am Realtor Reese, your concierge realtor. I'm a little bit jet lagged still. Is that okay to be, Steve? Is that okay? Yes, it's okay. It's all right. It's all right. For those of you who don't know, I was on vacation last week. I don't even know if you missed me. You didn't call, you didn't write. I sent postcards, but had a great time with the family in Hawaii. We went to Waikiki, Oahu, and you know, and excuse my ignorance, I have no idea. My wife says, well, we've been to all the islands. We've been to the Big Island. I said, we went to the Big Island last time. She said, no, just because it was bigger than the last island doesn't mean it was the Big Island. So we had a great time, caught some rays. I'm tan, I'm feeling it. Come back here and it's even hotter than it was in Hawaii. What's up with that? What's up with that? Took our oldest daughter, who just recently graduated from college, our youngest daughter as well, and our oldest daughter's now live-in boyfriend. And Mick, I owe you an apology if you're out there, because I tried to one-up you, Mick. I did. I tried to one-up you. We went hiking, we did snorkeling. Rena, our intern's over here looking at me crazy. We did all that in one day. That was one day. That was one excursion. Went out, had a great time. I am sore. I'm sore. I don't know what I'm doing. I shouldn't have been up there in the first place. I shouldn't have been in the water in the second place. Nobody told me. Coral? Really? That sounds soft to me. It didn't sound hard. When the waves came crashing and dropped me into this, and I got stitches. No, I'm kidding. But I thought it was going to be a luxurious, the water was great, water was warm. I thought it was going to be great, luxurious. It was, I would never do that again. I would never do that again. I did have a great time though. We went parasailing, had some fun. So I am back, ready to work. A lot of things happening around our little city in the last couple of weeks. The last week I was here, we had a fantastic show. Lots of calls. They say it was the best yet. If you missed it, it replayed last week. And we had Antonio Lopez from Summit Funding, who was on talking a lot about college graduates and how affordable homes are right now. And I gotta say, there's no better time to buy. And the feds confirmed that this morning when they were on CNBC discussing interest rates. And I said it, I'm gonna break my arm patting myself on the back right now. I've been saying it all year, that in September, they were going to raise interest rates. They have to. I mean, they just have to, right? We cannot go into another fourth quarter with consumer spending being where it is, and we're all getting a little loose out there again with the credit cards and whatnot. Consumer spending was up over 3% nationwide, and I said, the Fed's going to have to tighten this up. They're going to have to tighten the ship, and they just announced today. They didn't really announce, do they? They just kind of allude. They just kind of, well, you know, we don't like where things are, and inflation, blah, 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 blah. They're going to raise the rates end of September. It's when everybody comes back from the Hamptons. They're broke. They want to make some more money. Come on. It's common sense, right? 2 + 2. Although I don't want to alarm folks out there. If you are one of the 36% of all home sales now represent first-time home buyers nationwide. Just came out. 36%. A lot of folks are getting out there and enjoying what home ownership has to offer. The maximum bundle of rights. You gift it, will it, sell it, a lot of tax benefits, etc. So a lot of folks out there taking advantage of this, and how long will it last? We won't see rates spike up drastically. Okay, it's not going to be like August of 2014. We're going to see an incremental gain as they try and stabilize things, because jobs are soaring, and it's largely due to the rebound of the home market. The home market is fantastic right now. We're doing a lot of great things nationwide. Construction jobs are up. They're right back to where we started from in 2004, minus the creative financing. So hope those don't come around. But September, end of summer, end of these enjoyable interest rates. So a lot of buyers, I imagine, I'm just going to go out on a limb. I'm going to go out on a limb and say this. A lot of buyers are going to be making some offers here in the next 10 weeks. Going to be writing offers on property, so it's going to be a great time. We talked a little bit about teens and grads equals home. A lot of folks getting into first-time home buyer market, and they're doing it at a younger age than ever before. Interesting things going on, and I'm really glad to be a part of it. This real estate world that we live in is ever changing. The sports world is ever changing. We are all things sports and real estate here at 105.5. You are listening to the Realtor Reese Show. If you are on the bench because you already knew the number, you stay there. But for those who don't, if you want to join, you can get on the bench, and we will be taking a couple of calls here throughout the hour. That number is 866-576-1055. That's 866-576-1055. So I get back, and I'm not off the plane 2 seconds. You know, you turn it off airplane mode, and it's just throughout the cabin. You hear ding, ding, ding. Everybody's buzzing. We're all busy, right? We're busy. Right? Most of it means we just got to check Facebook or Twitter. But I'm getting a ton of texts. There's some rumor mill that DeMarcus Cousins could be dealt to the Los Angeles Lakers. What? No, not. It's in the second year of his contract. He just re-signed, right? Do contracts not mean anything anymore, folks? Because as a realtor, I know we talk a lot of sports here, and we'll have Steve Atala here from Summit Funding coming in and joining us a little bit later. He is on location at the senior golf tournament that's out at Del Paso Country Club. What a wonderful event that is. I hope the heat doesn't affect the elderly. But he will be here, and we'll talk a little bit about sports. But as a guy who comes from real estate, everything is about contracts, right? We're always looking at contracts. We're looking for any little nuance that can change the complexity of this contract. And I know a lot of guys sign, they sign for big money. It's all paper money, right? It's like a bubble, if you will, within the NBA. They sign for these big bucks, and now they're getting traded or getting dealt. Now they're talking about trading DeMarcus Cousins, although Vlade Divac, when interviewed, said absolutely not. It's not going to happen. He just shot that down real quick. What an interesting concept, though. It's kind of kind of makes me think. He hasn't seemed like he was happy the whole time he's been here, and maybe that's just his demeanor. I don't know him very well. Maybe a new look, a fresh start. I don't know, but it is swimming around Sports Center. It is swimming around Sacramento Bee. I read it online this morning again. What do you think about that? I want you guys out there to chime in. I want to read your thoughts on air. We're going to do a little bit of that today. 866-576-1055 is the phone number, but you can also go to our Facebook, and that is Facebook.com/Realtor Reese. It is a hot, beautiful, sunny afternoon here. I am at the studios at Money 105.5. I want you guys to be all strapped in. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about the senior tournament. We're going to talk about the housing report that just came out. Good things on the horizon. I mean nationwide, not even just here. We're also going to call Steve out. Remember Steve Atala said, "Oh, LeBron in 6, LeBron in 6." What happened? Stay tuned. Strap in. We'll be back. The Realtor Reese Show. Thank you for joining me. You are strapped into the Realtor Reese Show. I am your host, Realtor Reese Punter. I am, for those of you who are just chiming in and you're thinking, all right, it's too hot, I'm going to come in, I'm listening to 105.5. Who's this guy? What's this about? I work for a company called Sports Star Relocation and Intero Real Estate Services right here in Sacramento. I'm responsible for relocating athletes when they are either traded or just newly acquired, just coming out. We just had the NBA draft, so a lot of interesting things. We try and focus on the two biggest things that are happening right now in Sacramento, and that is sports with the new arena coming downtown. For those of you haven't been downtown, trying to avoid it. It is coming along nicely. Rena, our intern, is here. Rena, have you been down there? What do you think of the arena? What do you think of it? It's got cheese and lotion? Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. So compared to what?
Oracle.
Compared to Oracle, it's it's looking real nice. I like all of the drafts and the sketches that we've been seeing and what it's going to look like. It's going to open up a lot of things. A lot of folks have said, Sacramento Midtown, it could be a little bit of a bubble, right? Maybe things are a little bit overpriced. Are people a little bit too optimistic about the arena? If that is you, and you think we're a little bit overly optimistic about the arena, go to my Facebook page, Facebook.com/Realtor Reese, and answer the question here we're going to put up. Do you think downtown Sacramento is right in the midst of a bubble? Okay. We saw what a bubble could do, especially here. I mean, we saw it nationwide, but let me just explain to you, and for those out there who are new into the real estate market, we have a lot of graduates. We have, well, it is June, it's getting into July. I'm going to a wedding on Friday. It's wedding season. I love wedding season. All these handsome grooms, beautiful brides getting married, tying the knot, and wanting to go out and purchase a home. And one of the things that always comes to mind is, are we buying at the right time? Is now the time? And I'm here to say, you know, all realtors say this, right? Yeah, now's the right time, now's the right time, now's the right time. Most of the time, like 90%, if you are a home buyer and you're going to purchase a single family home, you're going to live in this dwelling, you're going to enjoy it, you're going to enjoy all the maximum bundle of rights, and you're not an investor, it's a good time to buy. I mean, why not, right? Homes typically go up every decade. If you bought a home in the 30s, it was worth more in the 40s, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So if you're going to look to buy a home and you're going to settle in, they say most people stay about 5 years and then they move. But if you're going to purchase something, live in it, enjoy it, get out there, enjoy those low interest rates while you can. Feds have indicated they are going to be rising at the end of September. So what does that mean for you? Well, it could mean that you don't fit into that program where you get to avoid mortgage insurance, or called MI. Mortgage insurance, what mortgagers look for is say, hey, you know what? We went through 2008, we went through a lot of downturn in the market, and we are not going to do this anymore without some insurance. So if you're putting a smaller percent down, usually less than 20%, most lenders will require this. It might mean that it pushes you out of that, and now you actually have to have mortgage insurance, which could cost you thousands of dollars a year. Mortgage insurance will typically, on an average, let's say $300,000 home, anywhere between $275 and $300, could be a couple of few $100 a month that you have to pay. It could also mean that your interest rate goes up and you fall out of a different bracket or a different category, and you'll have to pay more in that regard. It also means that you have this tax, right? This property tax that we have, which is typically 1.25% of the purchase price. If this rises, of course, that is stuck with you for the life of the loan. So it is important, and I urge you to get out there. My man, Steve Atala over at Summit Funding, 916-205-1468. Give them a call today. Tell them Realtor Reese sent you. It's complimentary. At least they'll go over all things financial with regards to you and your situation. It's not a cookie cutter thing. You get to sit down, you get to have a consult, you get to talk about what your goals are as it relates to real estate, and Steve's really good at it. It's been in the game for over a decade. 205-1468 is the number. Our number, if you are on the bench and still holding, 866-576-1055. I am Realtor Reese, getting you over the hump each and every Wednesday. Fresh and back from Hawaii. I'm gloating. We don't have a pregame meal today. I didn't get a chance to eat. I'm trying to work off some of the stuff that we ate when we were there. Lots of good food, lots of fresh fish. We had a really, really good time. So here in Sacramento, looks like you guys had a good time too, right? It's warm weather all the time. Steve's shaking his head. Yeah, he's in his shorts. No, he's not. Really, really warm out there today. I'm in a suit. I don't know why. I had a client before I came in. But if you want to talk to me, I'm so busy promoting everybody else. 804-7526 is my phone number. That is my personal, well, that's my business, cell number. You can reach me there. 804-7526. The guy in the commercial, he wasn't lying. I did answer his phone personally. Don't call him now. I'm kind of in the middle of something. But afterwards, if you're looking to buy, if you're looking to sell, if you're looking for information as it relates to the Sacramento real estate market, I've been doing this since 2002, and I've had a really good time doing it. Folks, LeBron in 6. Steve Atala, if you're a fan of the show, you're listening to the show, I'm getting a couple of tweets coming in. Norm Schreiber, thank you very much. Yeah, he couldn't have been more wrong. And that's probably why he's late. He's out at the golf tournament right now. So if you're out there and if you are enjoying this golf tournament, first of all, stay hydrated. Enjoy it. Steve Atala will be joining us soon from Summit Funding. He is my counterpart sometimes on the stage, and he said LeBron in 6. I am in Hawaii. First, I was all thrown off, all right? It's 3 hours before, not ahead, so before. And so I had to get the flex capacitor and a clock and a guy with white hair, and we had to throw back time. But I'm watching the game and at 1 o'clock in the afternoon over there, and I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe what I'm seeing. But, you know, LeBron just ran out of gas, and it looks like Steve Atala has just run out of luck. Yes, I'm putting you on blast on the radio. Cavaliers lose in 6. LeBron James, a little bit of disappointment once again. He's been in the dance many times. He has won 2 championships, but not this time, LeBron. Not this time. Speaking of time, it is time to report weddings. More weddings? Really? All right. I can't even call her my assistant again. Longtime assistant, longtime friend, and she is now an agent working on the Realtor Reese team. Carmen, our beloved Carmen, is getting married on Friday. And so I just want to congratulate both her and Eric and just say what a joy it is to have them in my life. And she's made things for me a lot easier in this real estate market over the last, going on 6 years now. And so everyone who's ever dealt with me knows or has met Carmen. She was great as an assistant. She was great as a transaction coordinator. She is an excellent realtor. And I talked to her a little bit today. We had lunch and talked a little bit about all of the weddings that go on in the summertime and getting acclimated, getting that home. Some of you out there do it before the wedding, doesn't matter. If you're thinking about it, if you're thinking about purchasing, I have 3, 4, 5. Every time you go on vacation, this happens. Phone rings, hey, we're looking to list our house. We heard you're the guy. We were referred to you. Come on out and see us. And I'm going, oh my God, I can't get myself right. And I said, can you just wait till I get back? We'll get these homes listed. I've got 5 listings that are coming up. We call them pocket listings in the business. Pocket listings meaning that we have a secured agreement, a listing agreement with that seller, but have not yet put it on the market. They're secret. Shh. One of the strongest words in the English language, by the way. They're secret listings, not yet on the market, and I have 2 in El Dorado Hills. I have 1 in Folsom, and I have 2 in Sacramento. If you are looking to purchase a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, or a 5-bedroom and lots of baths up in the Summit, El Dorado Hills, I want you to pick up the phone. I want you to dial it now. Go ahead and leave me a message. I will call you right after the show. 916-804-7526, 804-7526. You are locked and strapped in on this Wednesday with Realtor Reese. Happy to be your concierge real estate agent. And, you know, one thing is for sure is you've got brides walking down the aisle. It's beautiful. It's summertime. You go on your honeymoon. You come back and you start your lives, right? You got to have some place to put all that stuff you're registered for that you will most likely never use, but you got to have a place to put it. So you're looking for a home. You're looking for a starter home, and you're thinking, can I afford it? Can I do it? Is it going to work? Are we going to make enough money? So I want to give you guys, and I've done this before on the show, and I've got great reviews over it. I really try and simplify it. It comes from when I used to teach a class years ago. Now, I used to be, for those of you who don't know, I was kind of tied to the diamond business. Right? A long time ago, I was always working two jobs. I was working at UPS, I was working at the diamond store, and they always talk about 4 C's. You know this, right? 4 C's. You got the color, the clarity, the carat weight, and all that. The cut. Well, in lending, you have 3 C's. I like to call it the unicycle. Right? If you got 3 C's and they're all working, great. Everybody can ride this bike, and they are credit, capability, and collateral. Your credit, obviously by your credit score. The 3 major bureaus out there who do report. You can go once a year and get a free credit report. You can go freecreditreport.com. You can go to a lot of different websites out there and get your free credit. We've had folks on the show before that have helped folks rebuild their credit, get it to where they need to. But what the first thing you have to do if you're thinking about buying a home is find out where you are. You don't know where you're going to go until you know where you are. And get in, talk to, it doesn't have to be Steve, I'd like it to be, but give us a call, let us sit down with you, let us go over your situation, your goals, and tailor a program that is right for you, or at least tell you where you need to be so that you can have a goal and have something to work towards. Makes sense, right? All right, so 3 C's, credit, capability, and collateral. What underwriters will look for, and underwriters are those, those mean-spirited, wearing sneakers and walking around the building 100 times during the afternoon folks who stay in these buildings and they look for a reason not to do your loan. Well, credit, obviously, the higher the better. 720 and up, 680 and up. There are programs out there, surprisingly, that will finance you as low as 580, maybe even lower. Call us, 916-804-7526, 804-7526. We've got one wheel on this tricycle down. We've got credit. We are going to discuss capability and collateral and how that relates to a loan. I'm going to break it down for you guys. I'm going to talk about home buyers specifically, as we are in wedding season, we are in home season, we are in the sunny season, and we are in the season of giving. As your concierge realtor here, Realtor Reese, I want you to hold on tight. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. 105.5, the Money Channel. And welcome back. Thank you for being locked into the Realtor Reese Show. I am your host, Realtor Reese Punter. It's a beautiful afternoon. It's beautiful. It's winding down. Get a little bit of that Delta breeze. June 22nd through the 28th out at the Del Paso Country Club, right here in Sacramento. It really is an honor for us to host this. And it is expected to be over 140,000 spectators throughout the week. And it's going to bring more than $17 million to Sacramento. I mean, what an economic impact it has, just bringing the senior tour right here in our hometown. So we got over 156 professionals and amateurs to get to participate out there. 17-hole stroke play. The field will be then cut to a low of, I think, 60, and going into the second round. And so it's a great event. A lot of folks are out there talking about it. If there are still tickets available, you can certainly go out there, have a good time. It's a great time for the family. The grounds, I drove by there early this morning and had a conversation with a friend of mine who's volunteering at the event. And I mean, those greens look like carpet. I mean, it really looks good out there. It looks good. I'm going to be out there tomorrow morning and looking for a great fun-filled weekend of golf. So lots of fun things going on here in Sacramento. One of the fun things that we were talking about is how to get folks in the homes, right? Everybody's out there. 36% now, first-time home buyers account for 36%, which is the best numbers we've seen since 2005. I recently put a family of 4, and the breadwinner was a manager at Starbucks, into a home, and it felt good. Because folks that are going out there, they're working hard, they're putting in their time, they're buying a home, they're realizing the American dream, and that's what it's all about. That's what it should be about. It shouldn't be priced out of the market. No disrespect to San Francisco. So, credit, capability, collateral, those are the 3 C's that you need to have in line, or at least need to be aware of when looking to purchase a home. When we talked about credit, usually anything with 680 above will get you where you need to be. Now, let's talk real quick. I just want to take a sidebar and talk about what underwritten credit versus instant credit means. Because a lot of folks, I went to Nordstrom's and I applied for a card, I didn't get it. How the heck am I going to buy a house? Well, it's completely different. You've got A, B, and C tier in retail stores, meaning Nordstrom's, you've got, what are the other ones? Where's my wife at? Neiman Sachs or Neiman Marcus and Goldman Sachs, and A tier, obviously, right? Top of the tier. B tier, and then you've got C tier, and that might be, no disrespect to Target, but some of the retailers that are looking to acquire their buyers by the masses, right? And so they might have a program set up for instant credit where one of the C retailers might accept 640. So if you're at a 640 or above, boom, the machine reads it, you're approved, you go. 640 may not make it for the A tier creditors like a Nordstrom's, which I believe requires a 680 or above. So you might have a 675 FICO score and go in and they go, hey, do you want to apply today? You get 10% off. And you go, sure, I'll do that. I think I've got good credit. I've watched the commercials. I've gone on to my report. And they run it and they say, I'm sorry. And your shoulders slump instantly, right? Your defenses go down. And you're just like, oh my gosh, I didn't get approved. And then Realtor Reese is out here saying, you can come over here and get a house. Well, underwritten credit, much, much different. They look at your credit, your capability, collateral. They look at your debt to income ratio, which is a whole bunch of numbers I won't get into just yet. But credit, we talked about 680 and above. Usually you're in capability. So where do you work? How are you capable of repaying this loan? Usually most underwriters and most banks like a 2-year time and job commitment, meaning you've been at the same position or like position for 2 years. Don't be afraid. If you just got a job and it's for more money and it's in the same industry, they will count that, as long as you're not going from a sports agent to a ballerina instructor. It needs to be in the same realm, if you understand what I mean. So capability, what kind of work do you do? How are you financially responsible for paying this loan? Collateral is the final C. Collateral. If it's a refinance, how much equity do you have? Normally on a purchase, it's how much is your down payment. Right now we're seeing folks get into loans as little as 3.5% down. Some FHA, some conventional. Collateral, capability, credit. You have all those 3 C's, you have a perfect little tricycle, right? Everybody's riding around, everybody's great. You see those, they have them over at Google, like the oversized tricycles that get you from one way to the other. You're great, right? Everybody knows how to ride those. Now, let's take one of them away. You just had a divorce. You just had something financially devastating happen to you. Happens to everybody, right? Happens to the best of us. Credit score goes down a little bit. But you've been at your job for 10 years, you've saved up some money, you have 10, maybe 20% down, you still have 2 of the 3 C's working for you. Does that make sense out there, folks? 2 of the 3 C's are working. I call that a bicycle. Most people know how to ride one. If you never forget, right? You still know how to ride a bike. 2 of the 3 C's will be okay. Underwriters can look past. They might even ask for what's called an LOE, or a letter of explanation. As long as you can explain what happened, as long as you can explain that financial hardship. Maybe you are a person who has realized a short sale before. I'll tell you a quick story. 2010, I represented a couple who had a home, right, beautiful little townhome too, right across the street from the Peachtree Park, if you guys, 16th and P. Sold it. We had to sell it short. They moved into a rental for 2 years. Well, within that 2 years, we lived through a promotion. We lived through more money coming through the household. And then we just got them into a new home. Beautiful, beautiful thing. Everything lined up. And they took something that was a hardship back in 2010 and have turned it into a 2,600 square foot, 5-bedroom, beautiful home with a pool. Excellent, excellent opportunities out there. So I don't want you to think that if you've suffered a hardship by way of foreclosure, by way of short sale, by way of bankruptcy even, I want you to still call that number, 916-804-7526, 804-7526. I am your real estate concierge, Realtor Reese. My job is to minimize your risk, maximize the goals that you want to achieve in real estate. So that means forming an alliance with some of the vendors that I have had the pleasure to work with over for more than a decade here in Sacramento, establishing bonds with lenders, with title companies, with attorneys, with credit repair specialists, with pest inspection companies. By the way, Millennium Termite was out here a couple of weeks ago, and they've asked me to extend something. I'm going to give that to you before the end of the show. Don't let me forget. It is important because even if you're not selling your home right now, you may enjoy this. So all of these vendors we establish relationships with so that we can pass those relationships on to you so you can be educated, because most of the time our fears, our anxiety, our worries, they all lie in just a little bit of, there's just lack of education. And once we know what we can do, and once we know how the rules are, and once we have somebody on our side that can help us, it's smooth sailing. Is there always going to be a little bit of turbulence on this plane ride to home ownership? Yeah, maybe a little bit. But at least we can minimize that by educating you. So remember this: credit, capability, collateral, those three things line up great. 2 of the 3 line up absolutely great. That's fine too. Now, let's talk about my credit's okay. My capability, my job, just been there 2 years. Just eked under the radar. Collateral, I don't have a big down payment, right? I'm struggling in that category. So I'm struggling in credit, I'm struggling in collateral. The capability is barely there. You now have what I call a unicycle. You've got 1C, and it's very difficult to ride unless you are a member of Barnum and Bailey Circus. You won't be riding it anytime soon, and you might need a little bit of help getting up to that 2 of the 3 C's. And so we do have friends. We do have alliances that we've created over the years that can help with that as well. We want you to go ahead and call in 916-804-7526. I'm looking out. This is a beautiful view right now, and unfortunately, for those who don't have AC and who are stuck in the 80, a little bit of traffic. See, here at Realtor Reese, 105.5 the main channel, we give you a little bit of traffic news as we are educating you about loans. A little bit of traffic if you are on 80 is a little bit of bottleneck. I don't even know how they do that. They do a really good job of that. Steve Atala, he may not make it. He may get bumped. Rena, you might be next. If you are on the bench, 866-576-1055. Best way to reach me is I got a couple of questions I am going to take after the break is Facebook. You can go on to Facebook/Realtor Reese. Ask away any question. I'm here to answer it. Your concierge realtor. Stay strapped in because we got a little bit of a treat in this 4th quarter here as we wind down. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? You've been listening to me for 45 minutes. It's almost done. I've got something special that I want to extend to you guys before I leave, so don't go anywhere. And welcome back. Thank you for being here. You are with 105.5 The Money Channel, Realtor Reese Show, getting you over the hump each and every Wednesday. I am Realtor Reese Punter. I got a question in. Is this Norm? I know Norm. I'm a troublemaker. Is it better, if I'm an investor, is it better to look at multifamily versus a single family home if I'm in the Natomas area? Well, that's an easy one, Norm, because it really doesn't matter what area you're in. I mean, if you can get 2 for 1, you want to go 2 for 1. In my opinion, and this is the way I like to work it, I like to look, when I'm representing investors, if I can't get them a yield of about 7% on their return on investment annually, then it's kind of sketchy. You know, we really got to fine tune it, because what we're looking at here as an investor, much different than somebody looking to buy their home, get in the home, live in it, enjoy it, etc. Investors look at homes as assets. They just look at it as an asset. And what you want to be careful of, investors, is not to have that asset turn into a liability. Okay? A lot of folks I've represented back in 2004 to 2010 had these quote-unquote investment properties in which some cases they were spending just as much, if not more, to not live there. Right? They've got a renter in there for $1,000. They're with taxes and insurance and with water, sewer, and garbage and all. And if there's an HOA, God forbid, it really puts them over $2,300. And now they're coming out of pocket $1,300 to not live somewhere when they're charging their tenants $1,000. That is not an investment, ladies and gentlemen. That is a liability. An investment pays, a liability you pay. So we got that straight. We've got credit, capability, and collateral straight. I'm telling you out there, Norm, if you're listening, better to go with a duplex, a triplex, a fourplex if you can grab them. Nice thing is you're getting income on multiple sides. Some folks like to take the enjoyment of living in one side of a duplex and maybe just renting out the other. We talked a couple of weeks ago, we had my daughter on. For those of you listening, my daughter just graduated from San Diego State. We had her on talking about college grads looking to buy their home. One thing we don't consider and don't really pay attention to, because we've got all these other things going on, right? Money's coming out of our pockets left and right between meal plans and trying to get tuition paid for. We don't think about, what if I would have just picked up a small condo down there in San Diego in 2011. It's 2015 now, so that's 4 years, right? What if I picked one up? What were they going for? In 2011, you get a 2-bedroom, 1-bath condo right off of San Diego State for about $150,000. Right now, they're selling at $275,000, almost $25,000 away from being double. Almost. That's what it could have done. How about having my daughter live in it, having a few roommates, and having them help pay the bill? Even better, right? Other people's money. Everybody buys a house, but not everybody owns one. I'll say that one more time. Everybody buys a house, but not everybody owns one. So if you're out there, you're renting, and you're tired of buying somebody else's house, I want you to call me. I will sit down with you. We will go over all things financial as it relates to real estate and see if it's the best option for you. Sometimes it's not. On some occasions, very few, but some occasions, it's just not. Or sometimes you're not able. But we'll get you connected, get you with the right folks. Everybody needs and should deserve to realize the American dream of owning a home. And so we want to help you with that. If you are a web person, don't want to call, don't want to talk to me, you can reach me at Reese, R-E-E-S-E, just like the candy bar, at RealtorReese.com. That's Reese at RealtorReese.com. You can also go to Facebook /Realtor Reese and find me there. If you are still on the bench, you are holding, 866-576-1055 is our number. We're talking a little bit about home ownership, what it takes, credit, capability, collateral. You guys got those 3 C's down. You're great, right? You're on a tricycle. Everything's in alignment. The pyramid is balanced, and we are good to go. Now, what does that mean in terms of an underwriter's cut? I mean, it's not that easy, right? You can't just say, okay, we got those 3, let's go, give them the house, give them the keys, everything's going to work. The underwriters are going to take it a step further, and they're going to look at your financial scope. And I call this, you know, your credit report is a grown-up's report card, really, right? You can come home, remember that? You can come home, and I tried to convince my grandmother once that a D was an O for outstanding. But we come home and we're excited about that report card when we get it. Credit report, same thing, right? It's just a grown-up's report card. It tells a history, because the best way to judge someone's future is by looking at the past. And we want our credit to be vibrant. We want to have all of the things that shouldn't be on there removed. And we can help you with that as well. We've got vendors that we work with. We've got partners that will help our clients at, I've got a vendor that will do it at no cost. You call me, we'll take care of you. 916-804-7526. 804-7526. That's right, no cost. Give me a call, I'll show you how. One of the things underwriters will look at is something called debt to income ratio, right? We always hear that, and what's these percentages and what's these numbers. Most of the time consumers don't care about that. Consumers, we don't care about numbers and financing. That's why when you go to a car lot and you get out of the car, the first thing they do is they show you cars, right? Hey, how about this one? How about this number? Ooh, you look like a convertible. Let's get out on the road. Let's test drive it. Let's test drive it. Let's test drive it. No one says, okay, well, let me direct you over to financing and let's get you qualified, and then we'll come out and we'll look at what you're approved for. Because that's not sexy. That's not fun. Nobody wants to do that, right? I came here and I want to look at cars, right? We've got the family out. We're on the lot. We're here to look at cars. I see the same mistake in real estate, and I see it all the time. And I see it with $1 million homes. I see it with $37,000 condos. It doesn't matter. Folks want to get out and they want to get in. First thing they do, they call, hi, I want to see the house on 1-2-3-4 Main Street. Can you get me in? Can you get me in? Can you get me in? My husband's off at 5. Can you get me in? Can you get me in? And one of the things that I pride myself and my team in doing is, let's take a step back. Let's invite you in. Let's have a consultation. Maybe we have the consultation at the first home that we tour. Sometimes that happens. We sit down and it's vacant or it's staged. We can take some time out. We can go through a consultation. It doesn't take long. But debt to income ratio. I don't want to get real complex here and start going off and you know. Now, did I sound like Rush? I sound like Rush right there a little bit, did I? Just a little bit. This, I don't want to get off on a tangent here. I just want to tell the viewers and tell the people listening out there what they're going to need. When looking at credit capability and collateral, and looking at a client's debt ratio is the principal, the interest, the taxes, and the insurance, and sometimes the HOA if you have it. You take all those numbers and you add them up. And you divide that by your monthly income, your gross monthly income. And I know, some of you out there, your net is gross. Don't worry. Divide by your gross income and you get a number, okay? And that number typically for most banks, for most lenders out there, and these are even large banks, the big boys out there, they like to see that at a 45% or lower, okay? So you take the principal payment, right, and your mortgage lender, if you're with Summit Funding and you're going out and you're seeing Steve Hatala at 205-1468, 205-1468, Steve Hatala will take your principal of the mortgage, right? You find that out by the percentage, your annual percentage rate. By the way, today, 30-year rate, 4.18%, still really low. Really, really low compared to 10 years ago, which was in the 6s, and we were glad to pay it. They take that interest rate and they get your principal payment. They get your, you want to include the interest and the taxes. Here in Sacramento, you're safe. You go 1.25%. And the insurance, you calculate all that. You divide that by the monthly income, and you come up with 42%, 43%, 41%. Gold. You're in, right? Now the only things we need to do is to suffice the lender is get the appraisal and a couple of little things, and you're on your way to home ownership. So if that makes sense to you, I am glad to be the one to express it. If it doesn't make sense to you, do this. Drop what you're doing, pick up the phone, 916-804-7526, 804-7526. Give me a call. Realtor Reese here, your concierge real estate agent. I am not just a Sports Star relocation agent, all right? I know you guys see the photos of me hanging out with Rudy Gay or me hanging out with some of the players, DeMarcus Cousins, etc. Doesn't mean that's what we do. That's not it. That's not it. It's only a few guys on the team. There are thousands of you out there who need help, and I've taken great pride of closing more than 200 transactions since 2012, a lot of which were short sales and a lot of which we represented for free. Absolutely no cost. Folks, Millennium Termite was out here a couple of weeks ago. They offered $79 pest inspection. You owe it to yourself. We are in a drought. You don't know what kind of crazy critters are crawling up to your home. Get out there, call Millennium Termite. We're going to extend it to you one more week. $79. Get somebody out there. 362-4480, Millennium Termite, 362-4480. That is my gift to you, getting you over the hump each and every Wednesday. I am Realtor Reese. I look forward to seeing you next week. Strapped in, tucked in. Good night now.